The Brenda Perryman Show is brought to you by Livingston Family Dentistry.
Livingston Family Dentistry knows that good dental care ensures overall wellness, and healthy teeth and gums can perfect your smile. With over 30 years of experience, Dr. Ronald and Dr. Blake Livingston take the time to explain every treatment. Their modern office and friendly staff are committed to making you feel comfortable, informed, and satisfied. Located at 13724 Woodward in Highland Park, call now 313-883-3050. If your teeth are not becoming to you,
then you should be coming to us.
Good morning and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33 WHPR, Comcast 91 in Detroit, and all over the world courtesy of the World Wide Web. I have a great two shows for you today. On my second show, I have Judge Leonia Lloyd. She's just magnificent, especially for the work she's been doing for 20 years. Also, I have Rodnisha Ross. She has a play called I Forgive You. Wonder what that's about. On my first show, I have, secondly, Maya Mitchell. I think I have that right. And she has a fashion extravaganza coming up, and they're raising money for wigs for kids. And that's important. And first and foremost, a lost art form. We have members of the Great Lakes African American Quilters Network here this morning with some lovely work. Wonderful ladies.
Thank you very much.
I have Kay and I have, got it right, Sharon, right. They're both in this magnificent book, and so much is going on. But let's talk first about the African American Quilters Network. When did it start? Let's do some history.
Okay. Great Lakes African American Quilters Network started in 2003. It was a vision of our past president, our founder,
Justine.
And Justine had this vision of black women getting together doing this art form that she felt was lost, and we couldn't find a group of black women in Michigan that would do it. And her dream was to have Great Lakes members from Indiana, Chicago, any city that touched the Great Lakes. She had that dream for us all to get together and share this art form.
Right. So how long have you been in it?
Ever since 2004.
So you got in.
I got in very early.
Let's talk about your history first, Sharon. When did you start doing this?
I started doing quilting maybe about 2002. I started doing by hand, and we found that when your kids go to football practice and everything, I have busy hands, so I wanted something to do. So myself and a friend, Gladys Allen, went and joined the senior citizen group and learned how to do it by hand. And we found that a lady, Wanda Nash, was teaching at Schoolcraft Community College how to do it by sewing machine, and I thought that was much faster than me trying to do it by hand. So.
Wow. What about you, Kay?
Well, I've been in the group since inception, since day one, and I've been sewing all my life, pretty much since I was 8. And my mom could not sew a button on, so we haven't figured out how I was able to inherit this. But I have been doing this for quite a while. I started quilting in 1979 when we moved to Ohio. My husband was doing his residency at that time, and I went to visit a quilt shop, and I thought, I can do this. Well, I soon found out 1/4 of an inch was different than 5/8. 5/8 is basically for garment making. 1/4 of an inch is for quilting. And I found out there was a difference.
Oh, really?
And from there, I've been hooked.
So let's just tell the audience, in case they don't know, exactly what quilting is.
Well, quilting is 3 layers of fabric that is put together. You have a backing, a top, and a batting, which is in between. Now, it could be creative as far as abstract, it could be applique, it could be pieced, it could be paperwork, it could be drawn, it could be painted. The sky's the limit. In one of my particular pieces that you will show, it has some particular fusing glue that is put together to create the images of the African masks that are on there. And it's painted with feathers. So it could be on the wall or it could be on the bed.
Right, right, right. Because when we were young, well, maybe I was young, 100 years ago, I know on my grandmother's bed, she must have had quilting because that seemed like what we were sleeping under, not the big puffy comforters that we use now. But they used to make quilts a lot, just in their homes, right?
Correct, correct. As a young girl, I remember going to my mother's friends, and she had a big rack in her dining room. And what that was a rack where she was doing quilting by hand. So she would stretch it out, and that was used on her bed for warmth. That's what she used.
I remember one of my former students, her mother, Mrs. Heath, she made a blanket for my son, and it was just so beautiful. She took the blue, she took different patches, and she did it all by hand, and it was just so wonderful. And I think that a lot of people, see, I equated it always to doing it by hand. I didn't know that people were using machines and stuff like that. So
It has revolutionized itself. When we first started quilting, it was by hand. I remember some of my templates were using the lining of baking, and you take that and use that as a template. Now it has evolved into machine quilting, fancy templates, rulers. It's a multi-billion-dollar business now.
is it?
Yes, it is.
Maybe I should rethink some things. I mean, really. I mean, let's kind of look at some of these. And the other thing, there's so much I got to say. I'm so impressed because actually, everyone, they have a book connected with this. Now, let's first, you tell me or tell the audience, how many women are in this group?
Okay, we have almost 100 women in our group, all ages. We have about 100 women.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, a lot of very creative people.
So when you have your meetings, you meet how often?
Once a month, we have a main meeting, and we have special meetings every other month.
So what do you do in these meetings?
A lot of talking. It starts out with a business meeting, and because we do charity quilts. We do quilts for the Children's Hospital of Ann Arbor, Detroit, veterans. We do quilts for them. Anybody that needs warmth or security, we do quilts for them. So we talk about that at meeting. We report in of who we've quilted for, what we've done, our current events, and then we have an event where we sew. We get together, and you may have a project where we do something that's simple. So that day you've started a project or you've completed a project.
We also go out and educate the public. We go out to various schools and teach children,
Really?
senior citizens, yes.
Well, that keeps it going, keeps that legacy piece
Yes,
going. It
yes.
really, really does. Because in our community, this was really something that was big in our community.
Yes.
And necessary.
Correct. Correct.
And necessary, right. So there's a story. And I want my audience members, because I know some of you quilt, but you need to know about them. I was just going to ask you, do you get other people? I mean, can people join?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That's where I
Oh,
want to go.
yes.
I mean, say if I have someone watching who quilts, they may have this is something they love to do. And another thing, it seems like you all can educate each other on different things, right?
Correct. Correct. We're always taking classes in other places. We'll go to Houston. They have a big quilt event there.
Really?
Right. So we go to Grand Rapids. They have a quilt event there. So we're always learning things and bringing it back to each other.
And besides, our guild is not just a hand piecing, machine piecing group. We have novices that just collect quilts, but they want to be part of the environment.
Oh, okay. I can understand that. I could really understand that. I'm just so taken with this piece here because not only is it, you know, quilted, it has these beads and all. I'm just trying to see. It's so magic. I said, where are these beads? Where's the? Oh, okay. No,
No,
no. This is really good. I mean, people use their imaginations, right?
Yes, yes.
And that's one thing you can never let go of is your imagination.
Yes.
Really, this is just simply wonderful. And who did this one?
I did.
Kay did.
Okay, Kay, why don't you tell us the story behind this?
Well, at the time, I was trying to come up with a class for our group because we were getting ready for some workshops. And because I was dealing with some beads and the Dinka tribes, I started researching some of these stories. And a lot of them have these huge bracelets, necklaces that they wear. And so I decided to apply it to fabric versus wearing them around the neck. And that's how that came to be, so that I could teach the ladies how to do that technique.
So if I had this in my home, would I use it for a wall hanging?
A small wall hanging,
A
yes.
small wall hanging.
Yes.
This is great. This is so colorful too.
Thank you.
I mean, there's stories, stories, stories. And what do we have here?
This particular quilt represents our entire group. Each one of there's several ladies, myself included, helped design this particular quilt, and it was to represent the working African women from modern to African tribes. And we put this quilt together to represent that. So there are different ladies that each one made a different block, and we put the quilt together. And it was a raffle for a 2010 quilt show.
Really? And you have a quilt show coming up.
Yes.
And let's talk about that briefly before we go into the other quilts. The quilt show is
The quilt show will be at St. John's Armenian Church.
right in Southfield.
In Southfield, September 30th and October 1st. That's Saturday and Sunday. The tickets are $7 per
That's
ticket.
cheap.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
And we'll have maybe 100 quilts there. We'll have vendors. We'll have a demonstration, so you'll learn something there. We'll have make and takes. We'll have fabric.
What did you say? Make and
Make
take?
and take. You make something and take it with you.
So somebody could come there and make something?
You make something small and take it back home with you.
So that's interesting. What if that person doesn't really know how to quilt?
When they leave, they've learned something about taking and making something and taking it with them.
Some aspect of quilting. It may not be that particular wall hanging, but
Right.
you will learn something in regards
And
to
it's
quilting.
nothing better than having something that you can actually see for yourself, something
Yes.
that you did, and then you become addicted to quilting.
We would like to think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, you would. And it's on Saturday, it's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Sunday, 12 noon to 5 p.m. And St. John's Armenian Church is right off of Northwestern Highway. And I mean, that's a pretty central location, really. It really is. Now, tell me about this.
Oh, I made that. That is a African kimono, and we wanted to do a class for Christmas, something easy that you could do. Sometimes you want instant gratification, and that's
Yeah.
what that is. It was something simple that we could complete in an afternoon.
This is so nice. Everybody, this has so many different materials in it. This little piece I love. Now, where'd you get this little hanger?
I ordered that little hanger online.
This
Yeah,
is-
I ordered that little hanger online.
And so this can be a wall hanging.
Correct.
This could
Yes.
be anything. This
Yes.
is, you see, it's pretty intricate. How long did it take you to make it?
I made that it took me a couple of hours to make it.
Okay, stop bragging, Sharon. Okay. Wow, really great. Now I'm taken with this. Everybody, you have to see it. It's really three-dimensional. And you
I
did
did
this.
that. That is a picture of, I took a picture of my father. We lived in Hamtramck. And I found this black and white picture of him sitting on steps. And I really wanted to make this into a quilt, so I took that picture and made it into a quilt.
And what you have on the back, you have the actual picture on the back.
That's correct.
And then you have him sitting on the steps. This is just, ladies and gentlemen, you really have to be here. He was fine. He was a good looking man. Really, really a good looking man. This is just wonderful. Are these quilts, well, maybe not this one, but are you all selling quilts at the quilt show?
We'll have a silent auction
Yes.
at the quilt show, and I think she told me as of today we'll have 30 quilts that you can bid on and take with you.
Yes.
Really?
They're
Right.
wall hanging size, but
Okay, why don't you take this one over there and hand me this one down in the middle. The wall hanging
they're
side?
wall hanging size.
Now, do people ever ask you for custom-made quilts?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
And yes, if you see an artist that you really like, you can contact that artist and they can create something for you.
Now, this one is really, really interesting because it has a little mask, African mask on it. It has the beads, reminding me of the 70s when I used to party. You know, we had those beaded doorways. Beaded doorways. This is so nice. Well, let me see the other one because I want to get some more up here. And we'll be dealing with the orange one. I need to.
It's an orange one. It's the
No.
border. to
Oh,
the-
that's the border.
Yes.
Oh, all right. This is really colorful. So you can turn them on either side, some of them, can't you?
Sometimes.
There's some. That one's. We have a big label on the back that tells you
Oh.
who originated the.
Okay. Also, we're going to go for a quick break so that I could get some other ones of these up here because I want you to really see them and really think about the fact that you too could probably do this. We'll be right back.
The Brenda Perryman Show is brought to you by Livingston Family Dentistry.
Livingston Family Dentistry knows that good dental care ensures overall wellness, and healthy teeth and gums can perfect your smile. With over 30 years of experience, Dr. Ronald and Dr. Blake Livingston take the time to explain every treatment. Their modern office and friendly staff are committed to making you feel comfortable, informed, and satisfied. Located at 13724 Woodward in Highland Park, call now 313-883-3050. If your teeth are not becoming to you,
Then you should be coming to us.
I am back with more samples of what these ladies do. Now, Kay, you did this one. What is this? Flowers in the City. What city?
Well, it could be any one city.
Oh.
At the time, I liked the print in the back because it represented the skyline of any Chicago, New Orleans, New York. It just depended on how you looked at it. It was a challenge based upon an ugly print, and we were supposed to make something using the ugly print. And the circle in the center is the ugly print
Really? Oh, and you just built around it.
built around it.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is really something. Kid Rock should have had this one. Because look at the back. The stars and stripes on the back. This is the back, right?
That is the back. Yeah, that is the
That
back.
could have been the front. And then on the other side, why don't you give me a little help here. Now, what is this?
This represents, I've been teased by my group because I call this Ma and Pa. We have retired. We're sitting on the porch and we are enjoying the fireworks. When you look at it from a distance, you're on the porch and you're looking at the fireworks out on the farm.
Oh, this is wonderful. And
so-
you have all these patriotic symbols. You have the eagle down here. You have the stars and stars.
Yes.
That reminded me of Uncle Sam's hat for some reason. But you have all of these things. What, at USA, what persuaded you to do this?
I was just playing around with my husband about what we were going to do when we retired.
You're gonna
He
sit on
said,
the
"En-
porch.
enjoy the fireworks,"
And
and that's how
enjoy
it
the
it came
fireworks.
to be. And the print and the border at the top had just come out, and I liked it, so I
Oh,
thought,
this is nice. Look at the border, everybody.
so that's how I was inspired.
And that is great. Now, this is huge. Why don't you tell us about this? Oh,
That was a class.
who did this? Oh, wow.
Miss White did this. It was a class that was given, and this is a sample of some of the classes that we have. This is called African Queen, and Miss White did this. And every person that did it, they chose their own fabric, so everyone looks different.
Oh, yeah. So everybody added to this.
And
Right.
it's called African Queen, and there are 3 of these quilts in the show, and each one has different fabrics, so they look different,
Yeah. Yeah.
although they are called African Queens.
You know, every time I think of the African Queen, I think of the first movie my mother ever took me to see, and it was
Oh,
the
African Queen.
You know how old you are if you remember that. But I'm talking about myself. But the African Queen, and this is just beautiful. So everybody there's a little of everything in here.
Yes.
So you could go in your stash and pieces that you may discard, you can take and make a whole queen. So that's what Miss White did. She went through her fabrics and she chose different ones, so each one is different.
Wow, this is fabulous. Let me just kind of pass this along. And that orange, here you go. Thank you, Imani.
This is a sample of modern quilting. There's a movement called simplistic modern quilting. You'll see big backgrounds with modern pieces. This is called 3 trees minus 1. And in the raindrops, these that represent trees in the raindrops, there are African women in every raindrop.
Oh, this is fabulous. Probably on television, I don't know if you could see this, but it also sparkles.
Yes.
It's just beautiful. And then I noticed the stitching in here. In fact, I've noticed the stitching on all of them. So you have certain stitching patterns that you
Yes.
use.
This is called the quilting, and some people have long arm quilters that will do this for you. Some people own long arm quilting, or you can do it by your machine. This was done by a long arm quilter.
Who did this?
The long arm quilter,
I mean, who did
I
this?
did that quilt.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. And the colors are beautiful too. Now, right here, I have this one. It has flowers. Let me see what the title is. Let me guess. The Joy of Flowers, 30 by 30. That's gorgeous.
That represented a group of us had to participate in the botanical gardens in Ann Arbor. And so we had to have floral quilts to represent that theme. And that's what I came up with, a funny, whimsical type of wall hanging.
Well, I think, too, that's beautiful. I think their book, Everlasting Threads, honoring heritage and history. In this book, it has many of the quilts that the ladies have done. It has the story behind each of the quilts. And, you know, it's funny, you know, a lot of times what do they say? You see colors, I see a rainbow. And you just see so much. You look at it, but there's a story behind everything.
Yes.
And that's part of that creativity piece. This quilted jackets,
Yes.
this is just wonderful. And let's quickly tell the story behind the book.
I'll let you-
Okay, we got together and we meet at times with a group in Ohio, and they do dolls and quilts. And Gloria Kellogg from that group, they had just completed their book, and they said they thought we could do one. I'm like, yeah, right. But we came back, and I talked to one of the ladies, Willa Ray, and said, Willa, you got to do this book. This would be a great thing. So those ladies got that book together. Got the photography did and everything done in less than a year. That book will be on sale at the quilt show.
And here is the picture of her dad sitting on those steps. All of these, I mean, this is just fantastic. You wouldn't believe some of the images that they've put on these quilts. Very modern images too.
One of the ladies in the very first couple of
Little
pages,
louder.
Linda Ali, was the designer of our poster. And
This poster is
yes,
beautiful.
and
This
and
poster is
the
a
actual
piece of
quilt
art.
itself will be on the exhibit.
That's what I was going to ask you. Would this quilt be on the
Yes, it
exhibit?
will be.
So, 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tomorrow, September 30th, 9 a.m. to 5. Sunday, the next day, October 1st, 12 p.m. to 5. Also at St. John Armenian Church, 22001 Northwestern Highway. It's right in Southfield. Tickets are only $7. And for what you get, my goodness, I think I just want to come and make me a little quilt so I can say, oh, shoot, I quilt. you know. And the children are under 5 are free, so you could bring 10 kids with you who are under 5, and they just get on in. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, ladies. And for additional information,
You can contact our website at www.glaaqn.com.
and that stands for
Great Lakes African
African-American
American Quilters
Quilt
Network.
Network.
Right, right, right. This is exciting. Don't forget. And how would people, if they wanted to join your organization, how would they do that?
They can also access the website, and we have an application to join.
Now, you don't have to be experienced.
No, you
Not
don't.
at
And you
all.
could also,
No.
we're on Facebook also.
Yes.
Okay, Great Lakes African American Quilters Network. Just fabulous, ladies.
Thank
Just
you.
fabulous.
Thank you.
I mean, do people still use these for blankets?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. I have some on my bed. And then there are some that are on walls.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
some that are in shows, but yes, they are still used for beds.
wow. And lastly, I want to talk about your shawl.
Oh.
Tell the audience about that.
Well, this particular sash represents our group. One of the girls in our group, she actually made the logo and the patch that goes on. And this is sort of the sash that we wear when we have shows or we have to present ourselves to the public. And so that's what this represents. And each member of the guild that makes this has different fabrics. So no two are alike. We do our own thing with it.
Fabulous. And the book, Everlasting Threads, you could get it on Amazon.com too.
Yes, you can. Yes.
This is a piece of art in itself. So, ladies, I hope to see you there. I hope to see many of you there too. And thank you so much for coming on this morning. Thanks to Pat
Thank
PJ
you.
Alexander, who I've known 100 years, for suggesting this. We'll be back in just a moment, everybody, with Posh Do, right? Ah.
The Brenda Perryman Show is brought to you by Livingston Family Dentistry.
Livingston Family Dentistry knows that good dental care ensures overall wellness, and healthy teeth and gums can perfect your smile. With over 30 years of experience, Dr. Ronald and Dr. Blake Livingston take the time to explain every treatment. Their modern office and friendly staff are committed to making you feel comfortable, informed, and satisfied. Located at 13724 Woodward in Highland Park, call now 313-883-3050. If your teeth are not becoming to you,
Then you should be coming to us.
Good morning again, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show. I am just so surrounded by creative women today. I'd like to introduce you to Maya Mitchell, the creator and founder of Posh Do.
Yes.
Posh Do. Everybody, you hear me? Well, we're going to talk a little about it because on the 30th also, but this is after you've gone to the quilt show. After you've come from there, they're going to be giving an extravaganza. But before that, let's talk a little bit about Maya. So give me a little background on you.
Okay. Well, I am a licensed cosmetologist. I am an award-winning artistic director.
artistic director of what?
Of hair and fashion shows.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Did you ever work with David Humphreys?
I have worked with him before. I
Okay.
was an artist on one of his platform stages when
Oh,
I
okay.
first started. I am a I'm the founder and creative director of Page Do, and I'm also an educator for a hair manufacturing company, Design Essentials.
Really? So you make hair, you make wigs too?
Um,
Or what do you do? I mean, explain that
well, by every
because
day I go to work as a hairstylist. That's what I do every day. Uh,
where?
I'm at Hairshin, which is on Evergreen, right above Zoop Soup, between 10 and 11 Mile. You familiar with the area?
Hmm.
And that's what I do every day. However, on my other positions, I am an educator where I go around to other cosmetologists and I educate them on hair and different products and things that Design Essential uses. But to the 30th, the show is Posh Do, which is our fourth annual year, and I am an artistic director for that show where I bring local artists from the community and the Metro Detroit area,
Fashion artist or what?
hair artists,
Hair.
fashion artists, and makeup artists.
Now, I'm sorry that we don't have these pictures to show you, but they are fantastic. It's like you're sitting on the sideline. I'm describing this stuff, but you really have some out of sight hairstyles. I
Thank
mean,
you.
she has some that are puffed way up. I mean, she has some that are puffed way out. And these are wigs?
Well, we some of them are wigs, some of them are created on a base. But what we do is we basically this is our way of getting out our creative side. And the shows that we do, like you mentioned before, the David Humphrey shows, I have experienced over a dozen hair shows, and I felt that I wanted to create something
Absolutely.
of class and avant-garde and creativity. So that's where I was able to start Posh, where we can all come as creatives, as artists.
That's wonderful. Now, where did you go to high school?
I went to high school at Northwestern,
The Big and
Detroit.
O?
The Big NO. Yes, I
Oh,
did.
great, great. Now, were you always into styling and hair and all of that?
Yes, I was. They know me from doing hair ever since I was 12 years old. I was actually the one in the neighborhood that let all the the kids and permed their hair and waved it up, and they let me. I was only 12, but hey, yeah, I was always in the hair, and then through high school I was in hair, and then I decided to take a break, but then I went to college, and then I went
Where'd
back
you
to it.
go?
I'm in Michigan State.
Oh, great.
hmm
That's great.
Yeah, so then I came back into the hair industry 9 years ago.
9 years ago. How? You don't seem like it seems like you look so young, like you just got out of high
No.
school.
Oh
But I
no.
see what you're talking about. You wanted to do something different, avant-garde, something that people just haven't seen before.
Correct.
Now, how long does it take you to do one of those, some of your hairstyles?
Okay. Well, like the one particular one that I showed you is like a exaggerated mohawk.
Yeah.
I have a mentor actually that started me doing this. I started an apprenticeship with him. His name's Kevin Carter, and he is a competitive award-winning makeup hairstylist. And he allowed me to travel with him from state to state. So he normally helps me with the basis
Mm-hmm.
of the hairstyles, and it could take between 2 weeks to 2 months. It could take some time depending on what the
You mean to
hairstyle is
get it together? I mean, say
to
if you're
actually
working,
create the
right,
style of
right.
itself. Yeah, like I'm working on some hair pieces now for the show coming up, and I started about a month ago, and I'm still not finished. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you will be finished. No, you will be.
I will be all set
Now,
and ready for the show.
do you already know who's going to model the particular hair?
Yes, we do several. We do two model calls throughout the year to bring the creative industry in with hair, fashion, and makeup. We hand select all of the artists locally from Detroit. And so we're kind of like spies, and we're looking in their social media, we're looking at them and what they do, and then we invite them. So it's a show that anybody just can't kind of come in. We actually select a few because it's a 2 hour show. So we have 6 creatives that's coming in. We've also partnered with Wigs for Kids.
And let's talk about Wigs for Kids.
Okay.
Tell us about that charity.
Okay. We partner with Wigs for Kids, which is a charity, a nonprofit organization that provides wigs for children and young adults.
Who
They
have had cancer or something? And they,
Yes, they provide those free of charge, who have suffered from cancer, alopecia, or burn victims, different things like that, or just any type of disease that cause them hair loss, and they do it free of charge.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yes.
That is really wonderful because it kind of gives them a little bit of their pride back. And
Yes, it
stuff.
does.
People are so into cosmetics. You know.
Yes.
We always, older people like myself, we may sit up and say, but it's what's inside that
I
counts,
know.
you know. But there are people who want to say, well, I want to do this for myself and so forth. And if Wigs for Kids give them that opportunity.
Yeah, it's really big. I was honored to be a volunteer at their gala, and they had maybe about over 1,000 people there. I mean, everybody, even from the banquet hall to the food, was donated to them. And to see the changes on the kids' face and their self-esteem, they were pride. I mean, they had so much pride and confidence. They wore tiaras. They had a
Did
whole
they?
Yes, they did, and it was just such an honor to be a part of that. And they, like I said, I'm happy that we chose them and they chose us as well to represent their charity.
Wow, was that local?
It is Michigan. Yeah, yeah, it is local. Yes, it was in Sterling Heights.
Wow. Now, wow, I gotta look into that organization because you know, doing my research on you, that was the first time I had heard of it, and I think that that's such a wonderful, wonderful organization.
Yeah.
Your hair is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Is that all your hair?
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Who does your hair? You?
I do my hair, but I also have a counter partner. We do each other's hair. Yes. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I used to try to do hair a little bit in college. Then I dropped a pressing comb down somebody's back by mistake.
Oh, I never did that one
Well,
though.
that was silly.
But I also use Design Essential Products, which is they're also a sponsor at our show.
Design Essential?
Design Essential, and they're a manufacturing all texture hair manufacturing company, and we have a special guest coming from California. He's a celebrity stylist who's going to style and do a special presentation at the show with their products.
Now let's talk about this show.
Okay.
It says Rebirth of Prestige, Artistry in the City, Posh Do. And that's going to be on the 30th, as we said, at the A. Alfred Taubman Center for Design Education. I know exactly where that is.
Yes.
I've done some things there. And right on Baltimore. And VIP. And tell me what the night looks like.
Well, you're definitely going to get the wow factor.
That's fine with me. That's fine
Yeah,
with me.
it's a different form of entertainment because it's not your average hair, fashion, makeup
Yeah,
show. You know,
good.
yeah,
Good,
we put an element of elegance and class, and we also bring the art more so into the aspect of those 3 genres. You just have to be there. I can't really describe it. The best way to describe it is just to come and be expecting the wow factor.
Wow, wow.
You just have to be
Did I
there.
say that?
Have to be there. Yes.
Yeah, so what about the clothes? Because from some of the clothes I saw, they were fantastic. Where do you get those?
Once again, we collaborate with local designers here in Detroit. We select a few who are just extravagant
How
in
do
what
you
they
find
do.
them?
We go to different fashion shows in Detroit. We go to social media. We do referrals. Sometime our team, I have a team as well who kind of looks out for people who's doing what, and we see them, and then we'll go search them, and then we'll, interview them, and we'll see what what their goal is. And if it's to bring the artistry back in the city and they have a passion for what they do and they're very creative, then we ask them to be a part of the show.
People don't realize the importance of art
No, they
in the
don't.
city,
Yeah.
because I was told by a playwright from Vancouver, that's in Canada, of course, but he said that whoever has the art has
Yes.
the control.
Wow.
No, really. And Richard, gosh, I can't think of his last name right now. Oh, it's such an easy last name. But he wrote a book about 10, 12, maybe 15 years ago about Detroit and art.
Yes.
It's so important.
It
and
is.
I'm so glad that you've carved out a niche where you want to be different, you don't want to be the same. And I
Exactly.
think that goes with everything in the arts, theater and so forth. There's so much theater that is the same.
It is. It is.
And
we wanted to definitely set ourselves apart from the average typical hair show. So that's why we bring more of the art aspect in it in those three areas of hair, fashion, and makeup. So that's definitely was something that you can expect when you come into the show.
absolutely. And when you were in Michigan State or at Michigan State, what was your major?
It was in marketing. Marketing.
Oh, okay. So, okay, you got some background there. You know what you're doing.
Yes.
And, okay, you get a gift bag, preferred seating. That's for the VIP part. And hors d'oeuvres, you know, I always tell people, I always got my kids to go places and say, they got food, you know. But this is just wonderful. And it's different. And I think it'll make people feel different, too.
Yeah,
Is that what
definitely.
you're aiming for?
I'm aiming for the inner beauty to come out and just the ambiance of the whole show and just bringing that pride back into Detroit.
And I think you want to set a standard,
And
too.
definitely a standard. That's what posh means. Posh means classy, elegant, glamorous, grand. And that's what we wanted to bring to the show.
Absolutely, because you want to set that standard so that people will start bringing up their level.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
exactly.
seriously. Sometimes you just have to do that so that people bring up their level of what they're doing. They look at you, because I'm sure there'll be people who give fashion shows and so
Yes.
forth. They'll be there.
Yes,
They'll
yes,
be watching you.
exactly.
Now, will there actually be a runway part of this?
It is a runway show. It's
The
more
whole
so geared like New York Fashion Week.
Okay.
Yeah, so it
Okay.
is a runway. We have models, professional models, models who are aspiring models. We have probably about 60 models in the show.
Really?
Mhm.
You really have to be organized.
I have a great team behind me,
I
so
know.
yeah, have
I've
to
been
be.
to some fashion show nightmares
Yeah.
where it's like so long either between the models or between segments. It's just you're just
Chaos,
waiting.
yeah.
You're just waiting. You're just waiting, and we have to do some professional things ourselves.
Yes,
we have
we
to
do.
up the ante.
We do. We definitely do. We have to set a standard, and organization is key.
Yes.
And you'll definitely see that when you come to the show. Yep.
I am
On
really-
September the 30th, that is one of the things we want you to come in and see and relax and go.
If you want, is there a website or anything that they can go to? Yes, it is. Oh,
Yep.
you want to tell them or you want me to tell them?
Well, both. Well, www.poshdo.com
And Poshdu is POSHDEUX.
yes, and you can go on the website and purchase tickets, and also you can go and donate to the charity, which is
Wigs for Kids.
Yes, but every ticket sale, there's a portion that is going straight directly to Wigs for Kids.
Absolutely. That is so important. And that's 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yes, it is. I'm
And
excited.
what time does it end now? The VIP reception 6:30 to 7:30, and the show starts promptly at 8.
Yes.
If I'm coming just for the show, okay, I come in, we sit for the show. Is there anything happening after the show?
We ask for people. I mean, when the show is over, we're not just like I said, different typical show where everybody just scatters, but our actual the models who are wearing the hair pieces, the foundation that we're donating to stays and talks to you. We take pictures. You're able to come and see the clothing. You're able to see, touch the hair, and look at the models and take pictures with myself and my team and basically network. So it's more so
Are
like
you
a
doing
network.
anything special to your hair that night?
I am. I do something
Oh.
different every year. So this year, like I said, you have to be there September the 30th, 8 o'clock at the College of Creative Studies. And you will definitely see because I'm turning into a different
Now,
character.
which area there are you doing it upstairs or main floor or
It's
what?
on the 11th floor.
Oh yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly where that is.
It's a
That's
beautiful
huge.
location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really really nice and something in the city, something that um, young people especially are well, I guess to say I am just so taken with the entrepreneurship of young
Awesome.
people these days.
Awesome.
I mean, when so many of us were your age or younger, we had to get that job, you know,
Right.
and then we kind of hung in
Mhm.
that job, and then we eventually got off into other things. But I just love how many young people are entrepreneurs right now.
Yeah, I love being an entrepreneur. I have worked in corporate, but I would not ask to do. I love my job. I love what I do and wake up every day making people smile and giving back to the community.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
That's the way it's supposed to be. And this seems like a wonderful show. And the designers, how many clothing designers do you think
Well, a total of far as with hair, fashion, and makeup, we have a makeup school that is doing a presentation
Really?
coming from Troy. So they're doing a total presentation, and then we have six total of hair and makeup. I'm sorry, fashion designers as well.
Okay, now the makeup are the people from the fashion school I mean the makeup school doing the makeup?
They're doing the makeup and the
Is some of the
presentation.
makeup gonna be out there?
Yes,
Oh, I'm
they have a
glad.
theme. We have a whole theme that we're going by, and our theme this year is freedom. But rebirth of prestige artistry in the city, we bringing that back. So we're going to do, like I said, it's a production. So we're also bringing in fashion and designs that was from 1970 all the way to the millennium. So you're going to see the transition, how we started from 1970
Well, some people can pull some clothes out right
right now.
now.
Yes, they can. So we're
Yeah.
seeing how it spire to right now. We're gonna bring that back and that aspect back to our presentation.
Well, Maya, it sounds great. It
Yes.
sounds off the charts.
It is.
Really,
It
really
is.
does. And I'm very proud of you, and I'm so happy to meet
Thank
you.
you. Thank
And
you,
thank
Brenda,
you so
for having
much.
me.
Oh, no problem. This is exciting. You heard it here, people. Posh Do,
Yes.
POSHDEUX. And people can network too.
Yes.
That's the other thing.
That's the biggest part about it. We want you to come network. We want you. You never know who you can meet. And of course, there's an open bar and, like I said, hors d'oeuvres. So it's mix and mingle. It's very diverse. So you definitely want to be there.
Okay. So stick with us for Table Talk, where I have my second guest will be Rodnisha Ross, talking about her play, I Forgive You. What did he do? Got to know. But first, I have my first guest on Table Talk is Judge Leonia Lloyd, and I am so excited to have her. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.